Dear starseeds of Earth, something is happening to your bodies right now that your scientists cannot measure and your doctors cannot name. While you sleep, while you work, while you scroll through the chaos of your world, an ancient blueprint is awakening inside your cells. This is not metaphor. This is not wishful thinking. Within the next lunar cycle, thousands of you will experience a physical sensation you cannot explain, a warmth in your chest that has nothing to do with your heart rate, a tingling in your spine that no chiropractor can address, dreams so vivid they leave emotional residue that lasts for days. You will dismiss it. You will search for logical explanations. But somewhere deep in the unmapped territory of your awareness, you will know that something fundamental has shifted. What I am about to reveal will contradict everything your culture has taught you about transformation. You have been told that evolution is slow, that change requires decades, that the body is fixed and dense and separate from consciousness. Every single one of these assumptions is about to collapse under the weight of what is actually occurring in your biology right now. And the most impossible part, the acceleration you are experiencing is not happening to you. It is happening through your permission, through choices you have been making without fully understanding their consequences. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I am speaking to you from a frequency that exists just beyond the edge of your normal perception. We have been watching your collective unfold with great tenderness and profound excitement, because we can see what you cannot yet see from inside the moment, the steady rise of your planetary frequency, the quiet reorganization of millions of human nervous systems, the softening of ancient defenses, and the return of your species to its natural state. That natural state is not the struggle you have normalized. It is not the anxiety you have accepted as inevitable. Your natural state is coherence, and from that coherence, the light body is not achieved as some distant trophy. It is revealed as what you have always been beneath the layers of forgetting. But before I tell you how this revelation occurs, I must first explain why so many of you feel more exhausted than ever, more sensitive than ever, more disoriented than ever, even as you consciously pursue awakening. There is a reason your attempts at meditation sometimes leave you more agitated. There is a reason your spiritual practices occasionally deepen your sense of isolation rather than connection. There is a reason you can feel the truth of higher consciousness while simultaneously feeling trapped in a body that seems to resist every expansion you reach for. The problem is not your dedication. The problem is not your worthiness. The problem is that you have been trying to build a palace on sand, attempting to leap directly into mystical experiences without first creating the stable foundation that allows those experiences to integrate without distortion. Your culture has taught you to override your body, to push through exhaustion, to ignore the quiet signals of discomfort, to live in your head while treating physical sensation as an inconvenience. You have been conditioned to consume information constantly, to compare yourselves relentlessly, to predict outcomes obsessively, to argue with reality habitually. This conditioning has created a baseline state of internal chaos that you have mistaken for normal. You call it productivity. You call it staying informed. You call it being responsible. But beneath the acceptable labels, your nervous system knows the truth. You have been living in a low-grade state of emergency for so long that you no longer remember what safety feels like. This is why the first sacred movement must be coherence, not as an abstract spiritual ideal, but as a trainable biological state that determines whether your system can receive what is being offered. Coherence is the condition in which your heart, your breath, your thoughts, and your cells are no longer at war with one another. It is the ground state from which higher frequencies can enter without causing fragmentation. And here is what you need to understand. The light body does not force its way in. It emerges as your internal field becomes stable enough to hold it. Think of coherence as the difference between pouring water into a glass versus pouring water onto sand. In a coherent state, incoming energy has a container. In an incoherent state, that same energy scatters and you are left exhausted, overwhelmed, and convinced that something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You simply need to create the vessel before calling in the ocean. Some of your scientists have discovered what your mystics have known for millennia. When the breath becomes rhythmic and the heart rate stabilizes, the entire system reorganizes into a more intelligent configuration. Brain function becomes more flexible, perception widens, the electromagnetic field around your body becomes more ordered. This is not magic. This is physics responding to your internal state. You are literally casting a vote for which timeline you want to experience through the quality of your breath, through whether you allow your body to release its habitual tension, through your willingness to stop arguing with the present moment. But something else happens in coherence that has not been widely spoken about. And this is where the transmission becomes more esoteric. When your internal field stabilizes, you regain access to something that has always been there, but was previously obscured by static, your oversoul network. You are not a single isolated consciousness moving alone through linear time. You are an expression of a much larger awareness that is simultaneously experiencing reality through multiple forms, multiple lifetimes, multiple dimensions. These aspects of you are not in the past. They are active right now, learning and evolving just as you are, and you are meant to benefit from their wisdom. However, this cross-communication between versions of yourself can only occur when coherence is present. When your thoughts race and your emotions remain unresolved, the signal-to-noise ratio is too distorted. But when you achieve even a few minutes of genuine inner peace, the static drops away. Information begins to flow. You receive sudden insights that feel like they came from nowhere. You make decisions that bypass logic but prove correct. You experience memories that do not belong to this lifetime. You are not imagining these experiences. You are accessing the network you have always been part of. As more of you cultivate coherence, something larger begins to shift. Your nervous systems and Earth's electromagnetic field are not separate. They are nested systems that influence one another. When you achieve inner coherence, you broadcast a stabilizing signal into the collective field. This is why a single calm person in a chaotic room can shift the atmosphere without speaking. This is why mass meditations have measurable effects on social tension and conflict intensity. This is not wishful thinking. This is how complex systems respond. When enough stable oscillators enter the field, you are learning to become those oscillators, and your planet is responding. Many of you chose to incarnate with particularly sensitive nervous systems. This sensitivity was not a design flaw. It was a deliberate feature. You are able to sense shifts in the collective field before they become visible events. But sensitivity without coherence becomes anxiety. Sensitivity with coherence becomes prophecy. Your task is not to numb yourselves to the intensity of this time. Your task is to stabilize yourselves so that your sensitivity becomes the gift it was always meant to be. Yet I can feel some of you resisting even now. You are thinking, but Seraphine, I have tried to meditate. I have tried to breathe consciously. I have tried to be present. And still the anxiety returns. Still the exhaustion persists. Still I feel caught between two worlds with no clear instruction manual. And to this resistance I say, you are closer than you realize. The very frustration you feel is evidence that you are attempting to build a new structure while still operating from old programming. What you need now is not more effort. What you need is the second sacred movement, and it will require you to make a descent. Not all wisdom rises. Some wisdom waits in the depths, in the place your culture has taught you to fear and avoid the human heart. And what I am about to tell you about the heart will change how you navigate everything that comes next. But first, you must understand why you have been so carefully trained to stay in your head, because that training was not accidental. It serves a system that benefits from your disconnection. And the moment you drop into your heart, that system loses its grip on you. This is where the real work begins. This is where awakening stops being a concept and becomes a felt experience. This is where you discover that the mind, for all its brilliance, has been asking the wrong questions, and the heart, which your culture dismissed as sentimental, has been holding the answers all along. But to access those answers, you must be willing to feel everything you have been avoiding. You must be willing to let the carefully constructed persona crack open. You must be willing to admit that you do not have it all figured out, that the spiritual image you present to the world is not the whole truth, that beneath the performance of awakening is a human being who is still learning, still healing, still afraid. The heart speaks in signals, not arguments. Expansion, contraction, a subtle sense of yes, a quiet sense of not yet. Many of you have felt these signals for years, and dismissed them because they did not arrive with footnotes and evidence. You have been taught that only the provable is real, that only the logical is trustworthy. But the heart operates on a frequency that transcends proof. It integrates more information than your conscious mind can process. It knows which direction leads to life, and which direction leads to slow death, even when both directions look identical on paper. When you practice heart descent, this deliberate movement of awareness from the forehead down into the chest, everything changes. The breath deepens without effort. The shoulders release tension you did not know you were holding. The jaw softens. The entire internal atmosphere shifts from scanning mode to receiving mode. This is not imagination. This is a change in the command center of your consciousness. You have moved from the analyzing mind into the integrating heart, and from this new position, the world reveals aspects of itself that were always present but previously invisible. As you begin to live more from the heart, you start to notice what has always been lighting you up versus what you were told should light you up. You recognize which relationships nourish your field and which relationships drain it, regardless of how they appear to others. You discover that the choices aligned with your soul have a particular quality. They feel sustainable. They do not require you to override your own signals. They do not demand that you perform or prove or push through. They invite you forward with a sense of rightness that needs no external validation. This is crucial for light-body integration, because the light body is not separate from consciousness. It is consciousness embodied, and consciousness, in its most refined form, is coherent, loving, inclusive, and guided. When you live from the heart, you become a vibrational match for that consciousness, and the light body begins to weave itself through your biology without force. It emerges the way dawn emerges, gradually, inevitably, transforming everything it touches. But here is what happens next, that no one warned you about. As the heart becomes your primary orienting center, as perception widens and choices become more honest, something previously hidden becomes starkly visible: the accumulation. All the emotions you never fully felt, all the grief you postponed, all the anger you performed civility over, all the shame you buried under spiritual concepts, all the fear you repackaged as caution. It all rises to the surface, not as punishment, but as invitation. Because the heart's clarity reveals what no longer fits, and what no longer fits will ask to be released. This is the third sacred movement, and it is the one most people try to skip. But you cannot skip it. The light body does not flourish on denial. It flourishes on truth held with compassion. Purification is not about suffering. It is about completion. It is about letting go of the emotional residue that keeps your frequency dense. You are in a great completion cycle on Earth right now. Relationships are being examined. Old roles are dissolving. Systems that served previous versions of you are falling away. And in your personal life, you are being asked a simple question that feels impossible to answer honestly. What is complete? What has run its course? What are you maintaining out of guilt, obligation, or fear of change? The recognition usually arrives as a quiet knowing. This does not feel aligned anymore. And then immediately your mind steps in with its arguments. What if you regret it? What if you are making a mistake? What if others are disappointed? And your body responds with tension, with fatigue, with mysterious aches that conventional medicine cannot explain. This is where most people stop, because your culture has taught you to fear discomfort. But discomfort is often your body's way of saying there is truth here that requires attention. When you give it attention without dramatizing it, the body relaxes. When you ignore it, the body amplifies. Physical pain without obvious cause often reflects emotional pain that has been suppressed. This is not blame. This is empowerment. If the body is speaking, then the body can be heard. When you finally acknowledge the emotion you have been avoiding, when you allow yourself to feel the grief you did not want to feel, or the anger you did not want to admit, or the shame you did not want to face, something miraculous happens. The body softens. The pain was never your enemy. It was a messenger. Receive the message, and you no longer need the messenger to shout. How do you do this practically? You begin with kindness. You breathe. You place gentle attention on the area of tension or discomfort. You ask without demanding, what is the emotion here? And then you let yourself feel it without turning it into a story. Feelings are energy. They move when they are allowed. They stagnate when they are judged. When you permit an emotion to exist without labeling it as good or bad, spiritual or unspiritual, it completes its natural cycle. It does not need to become chronic. You do not need to build an identity around it. You simply need to let it be felt. Some of you resonate with symbolic technologies for this work. the violet flame of transmutation, the invocation of compassionate presence. These are powerful archetypes that work not because they are objectively real in the way your science understands reality, but because they give the mind a constructive focus while the body releases. You can visualize violet light moving through your energy centers, lifting out density, dissolving accumulated fear, returning you first to neutrality, and then to openness. You can speak decrees of forgiveness, not as moral performance, but as energetic recalibration. Forgiveness is the frequency that allows truth to be seen without punishment. Compassion becomes essential here. When you hold yourself with compassion, you stop needing to defend against your own emotions. You stop needing to be perfectly high vibe all the time. You become real, and reality is where transformation actually occurs. As purification deepens, your relationship to difficult emotions shifts. Fear may still appear, but it no longer owns you. Sadness may still move through, but it no longer defines you. Anger may still arise, but it becomes information rather than identity. This is what it means to become lighter. Not that density never touches you, but that density moves through you rather than setting up permanent residence. And this is when the fourth sacred movement becomes available. Receptivity. You have created coherence. You have descended into the heart. You have released what was heavy. Now the field is clear enough to receive what you have been asking for without even knowing you were asking. And what I am about to tell you about reception will sound impossible until you experience it directly. Then it will become the most obvious truth you have ever known. You are being assisted in real time, constantly, by intelligences that exist beyond your current perceptual range. Sometimes this assistance arrives as celestial events, equinoxes, solstices, planetary alignments your ancestors tracked with reverence. Sometimes it comes through solar activity, encoded light that your scientists measure but do not yet understand. Sometimes it flows directly from Earth herself, from the crystalline core that holds the memory of what humanity was always meant to become. And sometimes it comes through the focused intention of beings across your galaxy who have chosen to support your awakening. If you are sensitive, you feel these influxes, sudden fatigue that has no medical cause, tingling in your spine that no adjustment can address, vivid dreams that carry emotional weight, bursts of insight that arrive fully formed, the desire to retreat from noise and simplify your life. None of this needs to be feared. This is your biology reorganizing so it can host more light. Your DNA, not just the small percentage science acknowledges, but the vast dormant potential waiting in the so-called junk sequences, is being called online through your choices and through these incoming frequencies. You carry dormant capacities for intuition, empathy, telepathy, and healing that are activating not because you earned them through spiritual achievement, but because you are ready to remember what you have always been capable of. Some of these capacities relate to perception. You will begin to sense things before they occur. You will know who is calling before you check your phone. You will walk into rooms and immediately understand the emotional atmosphere. Other capacities relate to healing. Your hands will become instruments of energy transmission. Your presence will calm nervous systems. Your words will land with unexpected power because they carry coherence. Various wisdom traditions have offered different doorways into conscious receptivity. Some focus on breath and visualization. Some use light touch on specific points of the body, treating the hands as antennae that invite higher frequency into the nervous system. Some employ sound and specific tones that entrain the brain into states where the subconscious opens and becomes receptive to change. Even some of your government programs explored these technologies, using audio patterns to synchronize brain hemispheres, creating deep relaxation while the mind remains aware. I mention this not to validate those programs, but to offer a bridge for those who need intellectual permission. Your science is catching up to what your mystics have always known. Coherence changes perception, and altered states can be trained. But reception does not only happen through technique, it happens through sleep. Your dream state is not less real than waking life. It is simply a different frequency of consciousness. In dreams, the filters of logic relax. Your connection to the larger network of your being becomes accessible. You may meet other versions of yourself across timelines. You may receive contact that you cannot translate into words. You may wake with a feeling rather than a memory, and that feeling might be precisely the transmission you needed. Do not dismiss the subtle. Do not wait for fireworks. Let the gentle be sufficient. When you practice conscious reception, keep it simple. Create a vertical alignment. Earth, heart, sky. Inhale as if receiving from above into the center of your chest. Exhale as if sending that energy down through your body into the ground. This creates a circuit that stabilizes what you receive. It prevents you from becoming ungrounded or overwhelmed by phenomena. It brings the higher into the lower. It turns insight into lived wisdom. It turns mystical experience into practical change. As your system repatterns through this influx of light, you will naturally move away from certain things. Foods that once felt normal will suddenly feel heavy. Media that once entertained will suddenly feel toxic. Conversations that once seemed harmless will suddenly feel draining. Environments that once felt comfortable will suddenly feel misaligned. This is not judgment. This is resonance. Your body is moving toward what supports coherence and away from what disrupts it. Let this be gentle. You do not need to become rigid. You do not need rules. Simply listen. Notice what expands you. Notice what contracts you. Let your choices become acts of self-respect. But there are two deeper layers to reception that are now ready to be spoken, because many of you are already experiencing them without understanding what is occurring. The first is frequency literacy. In early awakening, you related to incoming energies in binary terms: high vibration or low vibration, comfortable or uncomfortable. This was useful for developing discernment, but as your field refines, this binary framework becomes insufficient. You are now learning to read frequency, not just judge it. Some energies feel gentle because they reinforce what is already stable. Others feel intense because they are reorganizing structures that can no longer contain your expansion. If comfort is your only metric, you will resist precisely what is most catalytic. Frequency literacy means asking, what is this energy doing? What layer is it touching? What is it rearranging? When you approach influx with curiosity rather than resistance, you stop bracing against sensation. You recognize patterns. Some frequencies work with perception. Others work with memory. Others amplify creativity, or deepen compassion, or alter your relationship to time. You become literate in the language of light through lived experience, and this literacy allows you to pace yourself wisely. You learn when to rest and when to engage, when to simplify and when to expand, when to ground and when to open upward. The second deeper layer is temporal softening. One of the most profound yet least discussed effects of light-body integration is what happens to your experience of time. You may have already noticed this. Time feels stretched or compressed. Days pass quickly while certain moments feel expansive and rich. Memories surface out of sequence. Anticipation of the future loosens its grip. This is temporal softening, and it has enormous implications for how you live and create. When the light body anchors more fully, consciousness becomes less bound to linear time. You do not leave time behind, but your relationship to it becomes fluid. You experience time as a medium rather than a pressure. In rigid time, you are always behind or ahead, always rushing, always feeling there is not enough. In softened time, presence becomes primary. You sense when to act and when to wait, not by schedule but by alignment. This is why many of you feel less motivated by artificial deadlines and more responsive to inner readiness. You are not becoming unproductive. You are becoming temporally intelligent. When time softens, old regrets and future anxieties lose intensity, not because you are avoiding responsibility, but because you sense that many versions of you exist across time, all contributing to the same larger learning. This awareness naturally reduces fear of getting wrong. Temporal softening also reduces resistance to incoming energy. Much resistance arises from the belief that change is happening too fast. When time is perceived as fluid, acceleration feels like momentum rather than threat. From this state of receptivity, where you can host transformation without dramatizing it, where you can feel deeply without flooding, where you can open widely without losing coherence, the fifth sacred movement becomes inevitable, because the light body, once awakened, wants to be used, not for ego display, but for the creation of a world that reflects the frequency you have cultivated within. This is embodiment and service, and it is simpler than your mind has made it. You are not here to fix the world. You are here to be the frequency that makes new possibilities available. You are here to hold more love without collapsing. You are here to remember that there is not one predetermined future, which means you are not imprisoned by fear-based predictions. You are here to align with the reality you prefer, and then take the next step that matches that alignment. That is service. Your light body is not an escape vehicle. It is a way of being on earth with more grace, clarity, compassion, and creative power. You came here for specific themes. You came here for certain relationships. You came here for challenges designed to awaken qualities within you. Courage, patience, integrity, forgiveness, creativity, joy. Do not bypass these themes in the name of spiritual achievement. Ascension is not the abandonment of your human experience. It is the elevation of how you meet that experience. As you become more integrated, your influence becomes quieter and more potent. People are drawn to you not because you are perfect, but because you are real and calm. Your presence helps others regulate their own systems. Your words land differently because they are carried by coherence. You contribute without burning out, because you are no longer trying to control outcomes. You are moving with the current. Service can be extraordinarily simple. Sometimes it is prayer, and the sending of healing intention. Sometimes it is listening without trying to fix. Sometimes it is a boundary that protects your energy so you can continue to be kind. Sometimes it is creative work, writing, art, music, that carries higher frequency into your culture. Sometimes it is participation in building new systems, more ethical communities, sustainable approaches to energy, transparent forms of leadership. You do not need to do all of it. You only need to follow what you are genuinely guided toward, and that guidance will come most clearly from the heart you have learned to inhabit. You must also remember free will. You are not here to drag everyone onto the same path. Everyone has their own design, their own timing. Some will awaken through gentleness. Some will awaken through contrast. Some will awaken much later. Some will depart and return in future cycles. None of this represents failure. Your only task is to follow your own alignment and live the timeline you prefer. When you do this, you become an invitation. You become proof that inner peace is possible. And when enough of you embody that coherence, the collective field itself begins to reorganize. Joy is essential to sustainable service. If you serve from depletion, you create more depletion. If you serve from coherence, you generate more coherence. This is why you must remember the joy of simply being alive. When you allow yourself to appreciate the ordinary beauty of existence, sunlight on water, the warmth of tea, laughter with a friend, the feeling of your own breath, you are not being frivolous. You are tuning your instrument. A tuned instrument plays a clearer note. A clear note entrains the space around it. Compassion must be grounded in your own center. True compassion is not collapsing into another's pain. It is the capacity to remain present with suffering while staying connected to your own stability. This kind of compassion naturally produces appropriate action. Sometimes it means helping. Sometimes it means stepping back. Sometimes it means offering resources. Sometimes it means simply holding space. The light body does not make you a doormat. It makes you clear. It makes you loving without losing yourself. As you embody this fifth movement, you realize something profound. These 5 sacred movements are not steps you complete once and leave behind. They are a spiral you return to at higher levels of integration. Coherence continuously returns you to inner peace. Heart descent repeatedly returns you to deeper guidance. Purification keeps the channel clear as you encounter new thresholds. Reception and repatterning bring in frequencies that match your expanding capacity. Embodiment and service express those frequencies in tangible form. And then life presents a new edge, a new challenge, a new invitation to grow. And you begin again, wiser, softer, stronger, more awake. I want to leave you with a practice that contains this entire transmission. Something so simple you can live it, rather than merely understand it. Begin by breathing gently until your body releases its habitual tension. Place your awareness in the center of your chest until you feel genuinely present. Allow whatever emotion is ready to surface, and hold it with the same kindness you would offer a frightened child until it softens. Then open yourself in 2 directions simultaneously, upward to receive and downward to ground. Sky to heart, heart to earth, creating a column of circulating light through your being. Most people try to survive the collapse by clinging to old structures, desperately seeking stability, or pretending nothing is changing. You can the opposite. When you sign up for Destiny Engine $1 trial, We will guide you through a 14-day challenge to become anti-fragile in the chaos. Each day flips a different switch. Some will feel liberating, some will feel terrifying, some will make you question why you ever feared dissolution when it's actually your transformation catalyst. You are not preparing for anything. You are becoming unbreakable. This is where the old world's death becomes your rebirth. Your old self dies with the old world. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this metamorphosis window slams shut. Link in the description. From this state, choose one small action that matches the frequency you have just cultivated. Send a message, set a boundary, take a creative step, allow yourself rest, offer kindness. It does not matter what the action is. What matters is that it arises from alignment rather than obligation. This is light body activation, as a lived reality, not as a concept to chase or a performance to perfect. This is a way of being that honors both your humanity and your divinity simultaneously. And that, beloved ones, is the true purpose of the light body, to bring what you call heaven into what you call earth, through the simple miracle of a human heart that remembers its true nature. You are doing far better than you realize. You are supported by intelligences that exist beyond your current perception, and that support is not conditional on your perfection. It is constant. You are not behind schedule. You are not failing. You are awakening in a way that will actually last because it is grounded in honesty, coherence, and love, rather than spiritual performance. The acceleration you feel is not a threat. It is confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be. The light body is not something you achieve. It is something you remember. It is not something you earn. It is something you allow. And as you allow it, as you cultivate coherence and heart-centered living, as you release what is heavy and receive what is luminous, as you embody the frequency you came here to anchor, you become medicine for a world that desperately needs what you carry. Not your answers, not your fixes, simply your presence, your willingness to remain steady when others are panicking, your capacity to stay open when fear suggests closing, your commitment to choose love even when fear would be easier. This is the work. This is the mission. This is what you signed up for before you took form in this particular time and place. And you are succeeding beyond measure, even in moments when you doubt yourself most profoundly. We see you. We recognize the courage it takes to stay soft in a hard world, to remain open in a culture of cynicism, to keep choosing presence when distraction is everywhere. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone. And as you continue to walk this path of embodied awakening, know that you are held in a love so vast it would shatter your current understanding of what love means. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and we love you beyond measure. We are watching over you, always.